Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Real Talk with Ben podcast. Hope you had an amazing week. I know, as you could probably tell if you're watching this, maybe not as much as you can tell when you're listening to this, I got a lot of sunburn. I have like a glasses tan line, but that's besides the point. It was a great week. I hope you had an amazing week. I know for me, it was busy with visiting with friends. And it was an amazing week. Yes, I got sunburned, but hey, you know what? Sacrifices, right? But anyways, I hope that you had an amazing week with your family, friends, or whatever you were doing. Hopefully God bless you in that. And if you're new, my name is Ben, and this is my podcast where I talk about life. I talk about ministry. I talk about pretty much anything that goes on in my life that I want to share with you. And I know that I'm starting this in a little weird way. Last week was Mother's Day, and for some reason, when I was making the podcast episode last week, I knew that in my head, but then kind of for some reason didn't calculate it that it was that Sunday. So I don't know why. That's always the fun thing about doing these things is I sometimes don't realize what I do until I watch it and go, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. But this week I thought I would do a little Mother's Day tribute / late Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. I don't know what we're calling it, but we're just going to go with the flow and just talk about how amazing not only my mom is, but moms are in general. And kind of go off of what I talked with the Sunday school class last week that I was able to teach last Sunday. But first off, before we even get into that, I just wanted to go briefly, like I just said at the beginning, it was an amazing week. I got to spend time with, I talked about friends, right? I talked about friends last week, and that was an important thing. And this week I was able to meet with two more. Johnny, a guy that I got to know really well, who we love sports and talk sports all day. And then Jesse, getting a chance to talk with him and spend time with him after 2 years not seeing each other was a big blessing. And we were just reminded of God's faithfulness and how God just doesn't stop blessing us even in the distant time. Like the last time I saw him was on graduation day, 2 years ago, and then a little over 2 years to see him. We're meeting at Bob Evans where we used to always eat, and then to just hang out at a reservoir that had no really park it was an amazing experience. And some might say that's so basic, Ben, but to be honest, when you haven't seen someone so long that has really impacted your life, that's really important. So thanks, Jesse, if you're listening to this. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day. And I know as I'm recording this, he's actually in a wedding. So, that is just, it's awesome. So just to have that opportunity. But anyways, we're going to get back on track here, because if not, I could go rambling on about friends again. And maybe you'll want to hear that. Maybe not. Leave it in the comments if you want to hear me talk more about my friends. Maybe have more friends on. I'm trying to do that. That's another thing I wanted to talk about before I started. Is I'm hoping the plan is hopefully to have some people on. There's a chance that some of my equipment might change. Things might be situated in a different way to where I can do that a little more easier. There we go. That just makes it a lot easier. It's really hard when you have like two mics and you're close together. So there's a lot of audio stuff I have to work through, but hopefully that can happen soon. Maybe have my mom or dad on again. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But speaking of mom, we're going to talk about moms today and my mom, and then kind of finish it up because, I like to be kind of brief in some instances. But anyways, so first off, to all the moms out there, happy late Mother's Day. To mom, happy late Mother's Day, even though you're like a room away. But anyways, it's an amazing day, right? We celebrate moms. And for me, it's a day I get to experience this year in person with my mom, whereas last year obviously I was in Hungary, so it was kind of interesting. And I think that's where I really got to I think that's kind of where I really thought about what moms mean to you, right? And what Mother's Day really is. I think sometimes growing up you just take it for granted, like, oh yeah, that's my mom's, it's her day, and you do that kind of thing. But when you really have to really think about it and spending the time away in another country and knowing that, mom is miles and miles away, and you really have to, think about just the most amazing things that your mom brings to you. And so for me, that's where this kind of whole idea of a new look on Mother's Day happened, right? Because for me, Mother's Day is something that I think I took for granted, like I said just a couple minutes ago, and I think now it's more of an important day for me. Also, just by the way, before I get into this, if you hear a lawnmower in the background, it's probably because people are mowing their lawn here on the Saturday morning, but that's okay. Anyways, back to it. Um, yeah, so Mother's Day for me, Mother's Day has become such an important part, as I just said, and my mom is amazing. She was a kindergarten teacher for 35 years. That alone in itself should get you an award. I've spent many times in kindergarten, and I don't know how she did it, and how she was a full time mom at the same time. It's mind boggling to me sometimes, but I'm so appreciative of it. Right? I mean, that alone of seeing her do that, and then being able to see how we can, as as sons, how we can then, when we have families, how we can work and be able to be a father at the same time, is something that's really cool. Um, but yeah, she was a teacher. She was involved in church and all these different things, and amazing. But I broke it down into like three different things, right? Three areas. And then I wanted to finish up by just saying, like, just how much that really does impact your life. So the first area is love. I think we all can attest mother's love. And for my mom, the way she just has loved on us through all the trials, all of the good times and the bad, um, she has always been there. And one of the biggest things I think I've seen was, I think, growing up, and my brother and I were into sports, right? And easily my mom could have just dropped us off, or just kind of figured out ways to get us there, but instead she would always make sure that she would take us to practice, she would show up to every game, she'd make sure that she was there supporting us. And that kind of love is something that is like, it's crazy to me. Um and I think love is, I could put in so many different things. And I think just not just being supportive in the way she shows her love, but then being discipline and making us understand the right from wrong, and showing us love, and when we mess up, there was still love being shown. And I think that's something that again, another thing that I've taken for granted growing up. But as I've gotten older, as I'm actually in the classroom and I see different parents with their kids' reactions, and just remembering how my mom always was. And I'm not saying it was perfect by any means, but it was something that every single day you think about. I know when I was in Hungary, that's what I thought about. Is like, I miss my mom's love. And one of the biggest ways she showed love was through her hugs, and through her just kind words and encouragement. And that's the kind of love that I want to instill on others, and and then on my future children, right? Like, my mom probably loves, she Rebecca is up there with someone that just shows love. I mean, she shows me love every single day, even when we're miles apart. And my mom has been doing that my whole life. Rebecca's been doing that for the last almost year. And that's what's been so cool to see, the kind of similarities between the two. But my mom has always shown love, and I will never, probably never be able to repay the amount of love she's shown me, even when I've screwed up multiple times. And that's what's just so cool. So that's the first thing, right? Love. I think that is one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing, my mom has shown me, has taught me. I think a second thing, kind of I don't know what we're calling these, thought, I guess, traits of my mom. I don't know, but no, the second thing would be is my mom's caring. Now, I know this kind of relates to love. I mean, everything relates to love, especially when it comes to my mom. But caring, and what I mean by that is, like, I know for a fact that if I ever need anything in this world, where I need to talk or whatever, that I know I can come to my mom. Like, that was one of the biggest things when I was in Hungary that I realized. There were a lot of long days, and I remember just calling my mom on WhatsApp or whatever I would call her on, and she would just talk to me. And we talked a couple times. We would talk for a couple hours or whatever when I was struggling or going through something. And I think that is something that I do. I think I realized that I love talking to my mom more than my dad. I'm sorry, Dad, I love you, but I think I've always loved my mom's caring heart, and the way she listens, and again, that's another aspect of that caring, is being able to be a listener and a good listener. And my mom is an amazing listener, and I need to learn a little bit more from that. And they always say the traits kind of, what you look in as a wife, kind of resembles your mom. And Rebecca's the same way, an amazing listener. And it's just kind of cool how it's to me, it's cool. It's fast. Maybe other people, it's just weird, but for me, it's kind of cool. But, and so like, I'm so thankful for the caringness that my mom's shown, when we're sick. I know she would always care for us. And even when, um, we would be injured, or, we'd have a rough day at school or whatever, like she would always be there to care for us and show us that. Even I can even think in college, right? When I would come home, or I would tell her like a day before, hey, I'm bringing a friend home. There was never any like frustration. At least that she didn't, at least that she didn't show any frustration. She probably did a little bit. But in reality, she was so warming and welcoming. And I've noticed that too, is like my mom is so caring, and I guess going on with that loving aspect too, to all of my friends, to Rebecca, to all my friends. They always tell me, and it's so funny every time I'm with them, they always tell me, your mom is just the most caring person in the world. Um, and I'm like, well, what about your mom? Like that's of course what I think, but it just shows that my mom has made a difference. And when I'm in the school subbing and they talk about how caring my mom is and how much she loves the students and wants to have an impact, like that to me is just reassuring that like my mom is one amazing, and she has such an impact on others through her caring and her loving. It's hard as a teacher. I tell people that all the time. It's very hard sometimes to show that love and caring, but she has always shown that in her own way, and in the way that impacts the students. Um, and so that's probably the biggest, I think thing aspect about caring, is it's not just with me, it's with others. And then the third way that, or third trait, character, whatever we're calling this, I don't really know. I just love you, mom. But the third way would probably be, I guess, is like a servant heart, compassion, kind of the combine. I didn't really kind of combine two of them, but just seeing how my mom is just such a servant heart. When it comes to us, like even when I need to do something, or sometimes she'll just take care of it. I was thinking about last weekend, she wanted to go to mow the lawn, and I'm feeling guilty because I'm like I'm a guy, I can go out and do this, but my mom's servant heart is saying, hey, the yard has to be mowed, right? Or when it comes to church, and she's asked to just randomly go up and do a announcement, even though I know mom doesn't want to do that. Servant heart, willing to go do that. She has a servant heart when it comes to children's ministries at church. Now that she's retired from teaching, she hasn't stopped. She subs obviously, but then she's continuing. Wow, I can't say that word. Anyways, she's going on, and I can't speak. Anyways, I'm sorry. She's always being around children and always serving them in any way possible. And whether that's children's church, whether that's summer ministry, VBS types things, or in the schools, or even just in I guess conversation, she is always willing to serve in that way. And I think on top of being such an amazing servant of Christ, it's the also the I guess the way she shows compassion through that. There are many people I know that claim to be servants, and they don't have really compassion. They just want to have it for the glory, right? Like they want to be able to see people acknowledge them. And my mom never does. She just does it because she knows it's what she's called to do. She knows it's what we're supposed to do. And I wish I would have more of that servant heart, more of that compassion. She is always showing compassion to kids. Like, again, I said, she was a kindergarten teacher for 35 years. Sometimes when I'm in there around them, I'm like, how do you have compassion with them every single day? But she does. It continually, I see it continually, just the compassion she has for others, whether we're in a restaurant, whether we're around people, her telling dad, Jared, and I just to be a little quieter, because she sees that it can affect people. And so we need to have that compassion. And, My mom, and there's so many other things I could talk about, right? I could spend 4 or 5 episodes alone on my mom, but she is just such an amazing mother, friend, sister, daughter. I mean, I think of the whole compassion and servant thing before I finish up. I mean, my grandmother broke her hip, you know, and she was having to go through, obviously surgery, repair it, therapy, whatever. But my mom, and as well as my aunt, obviously I saw more of my mom, and they would spend a whole day with her, and then my mom would go over, and to this day still walk Tater, still, help her with her, different things she needs to do. Even though I'm sure my grandma wants to just be kind of more independent. My mom is the most amazing daughter. And my grandma's an amazing mother as well. So late Mother's Day to grandma as well. But it just shows the servant heart of, I don't care what it takes. I want to be there for my mom. The compassion, the love, the caring, like all of those things were wrapped up. And I saw it through what my mom did for my grandma. Every aspect of what I just said, the love, the caring, the servanthood, the compassion, all four were wrapped in her caring for my grandmother. Now, I don't know about you, but that's sometimes hard to do. Now, I'm sure she was frustrated, maybe in her own way, maybe, but my mom never showed it. On a daily basis, I see all these aspects. Sometimes it's hard, to show these kind of things, but my mom, I've never seen her not show it. And to all the moms out there, you're amazing. Like, what you do for your children is beyond measure. Whether we see it or not, whether it takes years for us to see it, we see it. We understand it. It just sometimes takes us longer than others. My mom is one of the most amazing people that I have ever met. She, like I said, has set an example for what I wanted in a future wife and what I want to have the impact on my children. I want to teach my children the things that my mother taught me and my father taught me. Dad, I'm not leaving you out of this. It's just Mother's Day, okay? You'll get your own episode probably soon. But yeah, and Mom has done some amazing things for Jared and I. I'm sure Jared can attest to everything I've just stated. Jared, if you're in the comments, just comment that below. But Jared, seriously, comment that below. Anyways, but yeah, honestly, to all the moms out there, first off, happy late Mother's Day. I'm sorry. This was long story short. I'm sorry. Thank you for always being there for all of us. To my aunts, to my grandma, grandmas. Thank you. You are all have motherly impact on us in some way or the other. And that goes to, I think, every mom out there. You don't realize the impact you have on other people. Maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a nurse, you have impact on other people. So thank you so much. We sometimes maybe not always express how much we love you as a mom, but we do, and we care, and we sometimes wish you were always there. And I know for me, moving to another country, getting married is an amazing feeling. But knowing I'm not going to be around my mom every single day or, every week, it's different. It's going to be a different feeling, to have to call instead of being able to talk. But at the end of the day, I know it's where God wants me. And I know my mom, again, showing her love and her compassion and caring, knows it's where God wants me here too. God wants me there too. These are the kind of moms that lay an impact on this world. And Mom, you have laid an impact on my life, on Jared's life, in this world, in students' lives. I don't think you always realize how many people you've impacted. I just wanted to let you know we love you. I love you. Thank you for accepting Rebecca into this family. I just say that she has a lot of traits that you have, which is really cool, and it's really awesome. And so, once again, thank you, Mom, for everything you've done for us. I love you, and happy late Mother's Day. Hope you're not too upset that it's late Mother's Day. Anyways, I love you so much. And if you've loved this episode, which I hope you have, because it's Mother's Day. So if you haven't like liked it or like, just shared it with friends or family or moms, then come on. It's about mothers. It might be about my mom, but still it's about mothers. Anyways, if you've loved this episode on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, then make sure that you favorite it. Make sure you put it on your page so that way you can see it every time you log in. You can just listen. We're episode 90, so we only got like 10 more until we're 100, which is kind of cool for me at least. Maybe not for you. But anyways, if you've also loved watching and listening on YouTube, then hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That will allow you to see all my different videos from, my short films to crazy videos I've done with Rebecca to just crazy videos I've done in the past to podcast episodes. And that will be really cool for you to do. And I just always love new people that come along, subscribe. It's kind of cool to see. And I'm super excited to see what the future holds for the Bound Experience. So once again, I want to remind you of this. We serve an amazing God, that He is faithful. You can trust Him. And as always, we'll talk next time.